That what I like on the M3 GTS is all the competence and the work and the development of the car is so perfectly that everything fits together perfectly. And this is just the M3 GTS.
Jamie Sargent, a newcomer to Business Insider and also to the surrounds of Commercial HQ's boardroom. We thank them for putting up with our lighting and our noise. You are, well, no, I was going to say you are our first true artiste. Tell us about where Jamie Sargent started.
In terms of this career, I started as an assistant to somebody in Cambridge in the UK, designing, making inscriptions, and inevitably a lot of those were in stone, slate. Healthy tradition of that historical form in the UK, and I steeped myself in it for many years, and it meant I got more and more interested in stone as a medium, architectural ornament. I wanted to know how to carve, and Cambridge was a great place to learn.
Indeed.
And
did you have a strategy, because that was your second career at the age of 25, when you started, did you have a path you were following, or was it just the passion?
I would say the two are not mutually exclusive. I acknowledged the fact that after coming out of university and having some form of a career, I wasn't happy. So yes, like a lot of people perhaps in my generation, gave away the day job and anticipated that things would resolve themselves. There was an intuition that somehow I would find what it is I wanted to do. Unfortunately, that did bear fruit, and I had my road to Damascus moment, and I realised what I wanted to do with my life, and it was bound up with, yes, making a creative life. And
an artisan's life.
An artisan to begin with, certainly in the best sense of the word, and I'm still concerned with the process of making functional objects, albeit some of it is deemed to be decorative art. I think that is also something that underscores my business, my commercial
well, let's talk
life.
about that, your business now. How do you make your money now?
Probably two strands. One of them is concerned, the common ground is making, designing perhaps is the common ground, objects, for want of a better word, and on the one hand a great deal of that is concerned with public art. It's making something which is going to find its life in the public domain. I mean, just around here at Platinum, at Fountain Plaza, I mean, the people that we're actually sharing the office with, so to speak, they've been a very good client. Okay. Tim Gunnarsing and Phil Brand, you know, I've commissioned 2 or 3 pieces of work which are within a couple of hundred metres of where we're sitting now. I do a great deal of that, a lot of it on the Central Coast, and by virtue of the fact that I live here, you know, one's reputation it grows in this.
But it's gone broader than the Central Coast.
I work in Sydney. I'm currently working in Griffith, in the Riverina, with Griffith Council, and latterly with one of the wineries, Casella Wines, and it's those sort of relationships which evolve over time, and of course it's that continuity of relationship and word of mouth. It's vitally important that one's reputation is transmitted to.
So that's the design side?
Yeah, and then I do a lot of work, and increasingly I want to do more and more, which is in the private domain. It's making sculpture for gardens, and that's much more of a collaborative effort with a private client. It's much more intimate. The constraints are radically different in terms, I mean, I can let go and play somewhat, because in the public domain, some people may look at a lot of public art as being glorified street furniture. You're concerned about the robustness of the form, the ease of maintenance, vandal proofing, the fact that it's going to last. There are structural considerations, OH&S. I mean, a lot of the work I do finds its way into...
Van Gogh would never have had OH&S.
No. In that regard, I'm probably not a conventional artist, and I'm not, you know, I'm not so precious about what I do. I really rather like the notion that I am constrained in some measure by what I deliver in the public sphere, such that I'm satisfied with it aesthetically. It works for me. It works for a community. That's vital. The things I make, the ownership is with the community where they're installed. Privately, no, I can play a wee bit more. The form can be more delicate, the materials. There's an intimacy about the relationship with the client, and that also may involve a collaboration with a garden designer, and I really enjoy that relationship.
Fantastic. I want to tie it back because this is incredibly artistic, and I can't imagine what goes on in your mind, but does having to run a business interfere with this sort of process for you, or?
It doesn't interfere. I think I've always made a living out of doing this. There's I mean, at one stage I was in partnership with 3 other guys in Cambridge, and we got involved in some really big public art projects, so things like Victoria Square in Birmingham and the memorial for animals in warfare in Park Lane in London. I was consultant to Foster and Partners at the British Museum when they moved the old British Library to St Pancras on historical ornament, and I've always had an eye to making a living. There are times when I feel inclined, as indeed at the moment, to retreat a wee bit and produce a body of work and show, and that's what I'm doing.
I hope we're not playing a role in your retreat here.
No, not at all. No. I think it's just a healthy balance. It's acknowledging that motivation. Managing a business and managing the creative side, it's striking a balance, yes.
But I do know you work with brilliant logic, and I shouldn't give too much credit without Louise paying for it, but we'll talk about that later. But you use her effectively to manage that visibility side, would you say?
Yes. Somebody like Louise, we met because she commissioned a piece of work for me, or bought a piece of work that I'd previously shown, and we got to know each other a wee bit more, and she discovered a little bit more about my past and what I do for a living now, and quite legitimately, quite reasonably said, you know, you need a wee bit more marketing, you need to be presented more professionally, and I would agree wholeheartedly. It's not something I'm naturally inclined to do. I mean, occasionally I will advertise, and a great deal of what I do is, be it by word of mouth or indeed, you know, cold calling, and it's a drip feed in terms of my relationship with potential clients, and I wouldn't pretend for one moment that that's part of my skill set.
No. And I guess what I'm getting at, Jamie, it's exciting and refreshing to hear specialists in whatever area talk about employing people with skill sets that complement theirs, and that's what Business Insider is all about. If I plug Louise, I can plug our business. It is about making sure people use their skills as well and as fully as they can, and then employ people, and here's something the Central Coast does have an issue with, employ people at a valuable rate to fill the gaps in their portfolio of skills. So I salute you for
it's a huge part of my work. I'm a sole trader. My relationship professionally is grounded in my relationship with other makers, other suppliers. I rely heavily on local trades, be it steel fabricators, a furniture maker, a pattern maker, and other suppliers. I can't make things, and certainly not make things on above and beyond a certain scale and in certain materials that I want to make, unless I know I can rely on other trades, ideally locally, because it's very important to be bound up. I mean, just the pragmatic business of actually being able to go and look at something, which is precisely where I'm at the moment. The chap up the road that I work with, Mr. Alloy at Erina, excellent craftsman, and I rely on him heavily for a lot of metal fabrication. I do a great deal more in other materials nowadays, and it often involves casting, fabrication, laser cutting, you know, these sorts of things, where I'm going to North Wyong to get the laser cutting done. I'm going a wee bit further up the coast to get some water jet cutting done. You've got somebody like Adam, an excellent furniture maker, and he's just there at Kincumber, and we work together on bespoke furniture for clients like Thomas Hamill in Sydney, who is perhaps Australia's most successful interior designer. And when I recently made a piece of furniture that went into David Lowe's house at Vaucluse. I mean, that sort of thing is related to the core business of being involved with other businesses locally on the coast. There are a lot of very skilled people here, and it's a matter of getting to know them, acknowledging they're here, and that sort of collaborative relationship is a big part of my life and has been for years.
Fantastic. We love collaboration here. Do you have a rant? Do you wish you could, you look at the Central Coast and say, wow, I wish I could change that?
Change that.
Or evolve that or develop that? Yeah.
I'd be hard pressed to answer that question adequately. I don't think I have a rant. I'm very conscious of the fact that I'm part of this community and I intend to stay here. I enjoy everything about it, really. The very fact that it sits where it does, halfway between Newcastle and Sydney. I can go into Sydney for work, I can go up to Newcastle for work. I like both ends of the spectrum. I like the fact that I can get up into the Wadigans. I love being on the coast. I mean, the Central Coast, yeah, lifestyle-wise, it's got a great deal going for it. Unfortunately, I met a local girl, and that has been a significant part of my life, and the fact that I will be here for some time to come. A rant, I don't know. I think things are evolving. I think things have changed in the 10 years since I've been here. It is a wee bit more sophisticated, dare I say, than it was 5.
Is that good?
That's a good thing, I think. In terms of building on what is an excellent resource, just what is available to us here, be it the natural environment, and indeed the infrastructure, the proximity to Sydney. And no, I don't have a rant. I think things are changing for the good. And the more people that are attracted to be here, the better, really. And I'd like to be, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I'm part of that evolution. The very fact that I'm commissioned to do work locally, be it privately or be it by Gosford City Council. I mean, I just finished a big project with Lake Macquarie City Council at Spears Point, and they've invested heavily in a playground cum park, which is just won Best Play Space in Australia about a couple of weeks ago. You know, I'm very happy to be involved in that sort of thing. It's good for me. It's good for my business in that area, which is something, again, I've been cultivating recently.
Jamie, the web is permeating everything, or everything is permeating the web is probably true as well. How is that impacting your business and your commercial operation?
Wonderful resource. I mean, effectively, I've got a portfolio that's available everywhere all the time by virtue of the fact that, you know, the website. My work is best demonstrated by a catalogue of previous projects. I don't need to speak a great deal. People can go and look at images of work that I do in various domains, and it's available to them immediately.
When they need it.
When they need it, which automatically or inevitably or transcends any consideration about whether I'm professionally qualified to meet the needs of the brief. It means that they're going to entertain me more realistically because I can demonstrate instantly that I've got professional integrity and a reputation and a history. Yeah.
And likewise, when you're searching.
Oh yes, wonderful resource, collaboration, finding things out. When I need to make something, because a great deal of what I do, it's all about prototyping. I have an idea, and then I think how is it best possible to make it? It may be in a more exotic material. It may be a particular methodology of making something, or I need a supplier of something. I simply go online, it's available to me, and I can discover if it's available down the road. Email, yes, excellent, you know, instant communication, and this notion of a paper-free office and all that. I mean, of course, I can work from home effectively, albeit there's the nitty-gritty business of making stuff in a workshop, but it's wonderful. I don't need to travel nearly so much, you know, and it doesn't matter where you are, does it, nearly so much anymore?
I miss Cambridge. If that was on my CV, I'd think, yeah, I'd need to get back to Cambridge every now and again.
I do occasionally, yes.
Cool.
Yeah, I was there only a couple of months ago, but nonetheless, this is home for me now. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Jamie Sargent, an artisan, a designer, a craftsman. That'll do. I think that's more than enough from me because I admire all of those things.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.